Hello everyone, today is 13th of February. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, in today's GS folder, we will be taking a quote from the Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. He says, "Whatever is the right as a man is also the right of another, and it becomes my duty to guarantee as well as to possess." Now, guys, when the rights are concerned, a kind of a duality or a dualism emerges into the people's outlook. When the rights are to be exercised, they want a kind of an absolute exercise. However, when the rights are to be given, they want a kind of a curtailment into the form of reasonable restriction or such kind of things. However, such kind of duality is wrong and a kind of a uniform outlook is needed. Either you are guaranteeing the right to others or you yourself are possessing right for yourself. Guys, we can utilize this particular idea into the answers related to the GS paper number 2, exercise of fundamental rights. So guys, that is all, and now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now guys, taking up the first article, this article has been taken from the Indian Express and it becomes important under the GS paper number 2 under the topics of issues related to the judiciary. Now, you might be knowing that presently Chief Justice of India is Justice S.A. Bobde, and he is about to retire in 1 month's time. And on the eve of his retirement, there are certain issues which are coming. See, first of all, when we talk about the Chief Justice of India, he happens to be the master of roster, and into this particular capacity, he decides that which particular case will be listed for which particular judge, how the benches will be formed, which cases will be going to the constitution bench, which cases will be going to the division bench, etc. Further, guys, Chief Justice of India also heads the collegium which recommends the names of the new judges that are to be appointed to the higher judiciary. The names are to be recommended to the president, and then further the appointments are to be made. Now guys, when we talk about the present condition of the Supreme Court, then at present there is a shortage of 4 judges and 2 more retirements will happen into the 1 month's time, including one of the retirement of the Chief Justice of India. So into 1 month's time there will be the shortage of 6 judges. Now guys, into the entire tenure, the CGI has not recommended the names to the president so that the judges can be appointed. And into this particular capacity, guys, if he don't make any kind of recommendation, then he will be the second ever judge who had completed his tenure but did not made any recommendation for the appointment of the new judge. Yeah, earlier this particular thing happened in 2015 when the CGI HL Dattu did not made any recommendation because during his time there was the National Judicial Appointment Commission issue that was going on. And guys, on to the same time, now the CGI SA Bobde will be the second judge who might not make any recommendation because of the difference of opinions within the higher other judges of the Supreme Court. So guys, this is this one particular issue. However, a particular matter comes that when we talk about the judicial backlog in India, it is very much high, and many of the times the issue comes because of the shortage of the judges. Now guys, when we talk about the shortage of judges at all the levels of judiciary, the lower level, the higher level, there are the shortages. Particularly into Supreme Court also we can see such kind of things, and it will impact the justice delivery in India. So such kind of differences should be resolved, and as soon as possible such impending national issues should be sorted out. So guys, that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Friends, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is talking about one of the puppet form. Now, this article can be utilized as an important part in your GS paper number 1 as well as into the prelims under the art and culture. Such kind of thing could be important. Now, here, the puppet form of Thol Pavakothu has been mentioned. Now, first of all, let's discuss some of the basic information that what this puppetry form is. Now, guys, it is a shadow puppet form. It means that there will be a kind of a screen behind which there will be the puppets, and the puppets will be appeared to be as the shadows. Now, this Thol Pavagathu, it is practiced into the state of Kerala, and it is also known as the Nizal Kothu and Ola Kothu. Now, this puppet is dedicated to the Bhadra Kali, and for them, a special kind of a theater is also prepared, which is called as the Kothu Madams. And guys, here the stories from the Ramayana are basically told. And traditionally, when we talk about the puppets which were used here, they were made up of leather. And in fact, the word thol means the leather. And the goat skin was used, and these puppets were painted with the natural dyes and colors. Now, what we can see here is the integration of the technology with the cultural arts into this particular direction. Now, in Kerala, this Thol Pavakathu puppetry show will be enacted by the robots, and this will be the first time that the performance by the robots will be done for the Thol Pava Kothu. Now, guys, not only the cultural aspect is important with respect to this puppet form, rather, it can also be used as an example that how technology is becoming all pervasive in all the spheres. So, guys, that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express newspaper, and it is important for our GS paper number 3 under the topic of the technology regularization. Now, friends, first of all, before going into this particular news article, I would like to tell you some of the background. See, from so many days, a kind of a rivalry is going on between the governments around the world as well as with the Google and Facebook majorly. Basically, the contention is this, that these Google and Facebook, they are showing the news onto their platforms into the form of snippets, and because of that particular thing, guys, the advertising revenue is now coming to the Google and Facebook. But at the same time, the news agencies actually who are doing the research and development and are creating the news, they are not getting any revenue for this particular thing. And therefore, now the news agencies across the world, they had approached their respective government and has asked them that the Google and Facebook should monetize them. And into this particular direction, the governments across the world, they are asking the Google and Facebook that they should pay for the news that they are showing into these snippets. Such issue was there into the France, into the UK. Now, guys, into this particular article, we will be talking about the Australia. Now, in Australia, also such kind of matter was going on for so many days, and finally, Australia said that the Facebook as well as Google, they had to pay no matter what their contentions are. And guys, into the response, Google had threatened the Australia that if they will not backtrack, we will leave the Australia. And guys, into this particular thing, a new round of controversy began. Now, suddenly, the Microsoft came in between, and Microsoft said that we also support the Australian government, and Australian government also said that if you want to leave, you can, but we will not backtrack. And now, the Google is proposing a kind of a middle ground. What is the middle ground? First of all, government, as it was not backtracking, it said that anyhow we will be coming out with the media bargaining code, and it will fix the bargaining power imbalance. The news medias, they are at the receiving end, and they are basically having no kind of power, whereas the tech giants, they are abusing their monopolistic conditions. And by this particular thing, they will say that if any news media feels that they are not being properly compensated, they can reach to an arbitral panel, and it will resolve this particular matter. And now the Google had said that, okay, we are agreeing to your media bargaining code. And in fact, the Google had said that we are coming with the news showcase, which is a kind of a new product. Into this particular thing, the Google said that we will show the news of the different agencies, and into this particular return, onto the monthly basis, we will compensate to the news agencies. So, guys, in a nutshell, Google had agreed to pay to the news agencies via the news showcase product that it has announced. So, guys, it is a kind of a culmination that how the big techs and the governments were confronting, and ultimately the matter has been resolved into the Australia. Now, guys, I will advise you not to go into the hairline details of this particular media bargaining code, because then it will not be important for our examination. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the regulation of the OTT platforms. Now, guys, first of all, into the yesterday's newspaper discussion onto the 12th of February, already we have discussed this entire issue, that how the Internet and Mobile Association of India is coming out with a self regulation code, and it is coming just before the Information and Broadcasting Ministry is also set to release their own regulation code. Now, guys, into this entire article, much of the substance has not been given, but just one important thing is there which could be utilized into the web exam. It mentions the Sham Benegal Committee of 2016, which was actually constituted by the Information and Broadcasting Ministry to suggest the certifications or the censoring into the media films. Now, guys, the Sham Benegal Committee actually recommended that the creative expression needs to be preserved into the films, as well as into the visual productions, it was said that the discretion should be left onto the audience, that what they want to see and what they don't want to see. And further, the Sham Benegal Committee also said this particular thing, that rather than censoring the media, we need to issue the age specific certificates, for example, the underage certificate, adult certificates, and subject to such kind of certificates, the media should be allowed. Now, this particular guys kind of thing could be utilized when you are talking about the freedom with respect to the creative media vis-a-vis preserving the sentiments of the people. So, there Sham Benegal Committee's recommendation can come handy. It has been said that the new media regularization code that has been adopted by the OTT platforms, it is going in sync with the Sham Benegal Committee. And guys, whatever the new code I and B will be bringing, it should also correspond to the Sham Benegal's idea. So guys, such kind of things, however, already into the yesterday 12th of February we have discussed all such kind of things, so I will not be going on to the same kind of thing just to save your time. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, these are the other two articles from the Hindu newspaper. Now, this particular article, it has been written by the Barry O'Farrell, who is the Australian High Commissioner to India. And into this entire article, he had provided that how much money Australian government is spending to curb the emissions and all such kind of things. Guys, the article is very much generalistic. Something breakthrough has not been mentioned, and moreover, it is entirely focused onto the Australia, so not important for our exam. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the fault lines, the polarization that is going into the Western UP, and how the politicization of the narrative is going on. Guys, not at all important for your UPSC examinations. Unnecessary propaganda has been provided. And guys, similarly, today's ground zero report is also not at all usable. So, guys, just skip these articles, and now we'll be moving to the next article. No, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and here we can see that a very good message has been given by the Supreme Court with respect to the eradication of the caste divisions in India. Now, guys, the views that we will be discussing here, you can utilize it into the GS paper number 1 into the matters related to the Indian society, as well as in GS paper number 2, social justice. Now, the Supreme Court had said that the younger population today is showing the way forward as how the caste can be eradicated, and according to the Supreme Court, the intercaste marriages that the young people are taking today, it is the real way out. Now, guys, into this particular thing, the Supreme Court was hearing a petition where the two people from the different communities had married. Now, guys, into this particular judgment, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul had quoted the B.R. Ambedkar's annihilation of the caste. Into the annihilation of caste, B.R. Ambedkar says that I am convinced that the real remedy is intermarriage. Fusion of blood can alone create the feeling of being kith and kin, and unless this feeling of kinship, of being kindred, becomes paramount, the separatist feeling, the feeling of being alien created by the caste, will not vanish. In a nutshell, B.R. Ambedkar has openly said that if you want to eradicate the caste, just promote more and more intercaste marriages. And guys, the Supreme Court had said that whenever the intercaste marriage is happening, the police should not madly register the case of elopement and all such kind of things. Rather, they need to be trained that such kind of things are good. They are, in fact, a kind of a way forward for the integrative society. So, guys, a very good reference. Please quote it into your answers. So, that is all. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and you can utilize it into the GS paper number 2 under the topic of affirmative action or the reservation policies and their impact in bringing the social justice for the people. Now, guys, recently what has happened? One RTI application was made with respect to the PhD entry into the 5 IITs for the people belonging to the marginalized communities, and the marginalized communities included the OBCs, scheduled caste, and scheduled tribe. Now, guys, here we can see that the number of people admitted to the PhD courses, the highest 72% belonged to the general classes, whereas the OBCs were just 19.5%, SCs were just 7.3%, and STs were 1.2%. In total, they were very much less compared to the general category candidate. Moreover, guys, the acceptance rate was also very much different. For general, it was 4%, whereas for the OBCs, SCs, and scheduled tribe, they were very much less. Now, guys, it has been said into the last year, that despite of the reservation that has been provided, still the benefit has not been reached to the marginalized community, because still their representation has been very much less. Now guys, historically it has been provided by the premier institutions such as the IITs, that actually the people are not applying into the large numbers, and because they are not applying, their quota is not being exhausted. But guys, RTI, which has been just now made with respect to all the datas, it has busted such kind of myth. It has been said that in large numbers the people from the marginalized communities, they are applying, but still they are not being selected. And guys, it has been provided that there is a kind of a selection bias which is existing into these premier institutions. It has been said that the senior faculty members, they believe that the reservation is a kind of an unaccepted intervention into the premier institutions, and therefore it is breaching the rule of the merit, and they are not very much inclined to admit the members of the marginalized communities onto the basis of the reservation. And into this particular capacity, many a times guys, the demands have also been put together that for the faculty positions the reservation policy should be scrapped. So guys, such kind of biasness can be seen into the premier institutions. Now you don't need to remember all such kind of datas here or the hairline facts, because you will not be able to recall it into the examination. However, just the brief parameters or the brief trends with respect to the RT information, you can keep it into your mind. So guys, that is all. However, this article is not still completed. It has to be concluded either into the coming days, it will be concluded. So guys, that is all about this particular article, and that is all for the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I hope that you have understood it and you are liking it. Thank you so much.